All right, let's take a look at something else that you can do in the OLS, or the Online Learning System. When you're in the OLS, you will have a tab at the top that says Plan. I don't have one as a teacher, but you will have one that says Plan. Underneath the tab Plan, you will see right in the middle here where I have a big yellow block, it will tell you what classes you have, okay? They're ClassConnect sessions. You might notice also under Quick Links, I have ClassConnect sessions. These ClassConnect sessions are how we get together as a class. This is where I do my teaching, where you have a chance to work with me, and when you have a chance to work with other students, okay? So, my classes are going on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You will either be in my 10 o'clock class or my 11 o'clock class, okay? Once in a while we have a special event, but those are the two classes that I run right now. So we will have class on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at either 10 o'clock a.m. or 11 o'clock a.m. To find out when your class is, you will look at your ClassConnect sessions or go to your plan and look at your ClassConnect schedule there. The ClassConnect session will look like a link. It will say Mrs. B's red class or Mrs. B's blue class, and that just depends on what time you're in class, okay? It will also tell you what time the class starts and what time the class ends. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like when you try to go into class, okay? I'm going to minimize this. I can't get into class exactly the same as you, but I'm going to try my best. When you click on the link, it will bring up a website that looks like this. Purple and white, Blackboard Collaborate, okay? As soon as this page comes up, you will also have a box that pops up. I'll have that box in just a minute. There we go. So I usually save my classes. This will happen every time you come to class, okay? I usually save this to my desktop, and I just get rid of it after class. But go ahead and save it somewhere. Okay. If you have a newer computer, which you should from K-12 or from Insight School of Ohio, you'll have down here at the bottom where it shows you've downloaded a stable version of the class that we're about to go into, okay? And that just helps your computer, you're not trying to load and download and upload while class is going on. This should help, okay? So go ahead and click on that. And again, you'll do this each time we have class. Once you click on that, it does take a little bit of time, but eventually it will bring up what's called a Blackboard or a ClassConnect schedule, or a ClassConnect session. Okay? So you'll see this each time. It's verifying, it's loading. It takes a few minutes. Remember, it is important to come to class each day that we have class. That's where we're going to work on some of the lessons together so that you do not have to turn them in on your own. Also, this is where I have a chance to get to know you, to work with you, and to really teach you. Okay? Now, as this is loading, the classroom will pop up in just a minute. It does take I'm going to show you how to use some of the tools that we use in the classroom. Often new students come to an online school and they say, how do you teach? How do you do class on the computer? That seems so strange. How do you do things? How do you raise your hand? How do you talk? So I'm going to show you those in just a minute, okay? Now, I am a teacher in the classroom right now, so my name is in bold and it says moderator. As students come in, they will come up underneath my name and it will say your name and this long number. Don't worry about that long number, that's just how the system tracks you, okay? But your name and all of the names of the students that are coming into class will line up in a list right here, okay? Now what you're seeing here, the big white square, is our blacktop, is my, we'll think of it as a dry erase board, okay? I can do everything on the dry erase board that I could do on a regular one, and more. So I want to show you the most important tools right here. These are the most important tools, and you can move them out of your way if you want to, okay? Often when you come to class, there will be a PowerPoint presentation here, just like in many brick and mortar classes that would put it up on the projection screen. But if you have the ability, which the teacher can take away or give, so sometimes you have the abilities and sometimes you don't, to use these tools. These are the tools that help you do everything you need to do in class, okay? The first tool here at the top is your pointer tool, and if you lay your mouse on it, you see that it says Select Objects. So it works just like a mouse. You would select something. Of course, we don't have anything here, nothing to click on, but we'll get there. The second button says Point to items of interest on the page, excuse me. As a teacher, I use this a lot. This is my pointer. It says, look here, this is what I'm reading, or look here, look at this picture I'm showing you. There are lots of different pointers, and sometimes the teacher will ask the students, everybody put your pointer on the answer you think is correct. So sometimes you'll see that, and sometimes you'll use that, okay? As a teacher, I really like the little hand pointy one though. I use that a lot. The next one says draw a pen stroke on the page. When you click on it, a highlighter pops up, and you're going to click on that highlighter. Now it gives you the option to change the color, to change how see-through it is, and to change how thick the line is. Of course, if I'm asking you to write something on the board, that's much different than asking you to highlight something on the board. If I ask you to write an answer like this, the way it is set up right now, it's yellow, you can see through it halfway, and it's very big lines, and I ask you to write the answer, your answer would be like this. It's very hard to read, okay? It's see-through and it's large and it's just odd. I want to erase this now because I don't want the yellow. So I took my pointer tool and I'm going to draw a box around everything I want to get rid of and hit backspace. Okay, let's go back into the pen tool. And now you see, I don't know why it does this, but each time you go into it, check to make sure your settings are correct. So now it's changed my color to black. It's 100% ink, so it's not see-through at all. And I have a line thickness like this, which is great. So now I can point to things, and I can really write. You know, I can write a little bit smaller with this pen. We also use this pen to circle things, sometimes we draw a picture, if we need to draw a picture to explain a topic. So those are all different things that we do with the pen tool. You might be thinking that seems very hard to write with the pen tool, and for some students it is. That's okay, because the next tool you have is to put text on the page. When you click on this text button, you will get this A that pops up, and again you have different options. You can change your font, you can change how see-through it is, the color, you can also change how big it is or how small. You can make it bold, italic, or underlined. Now it takes a little bit of practice to figure out what size works for you, but I generally use this size when answering something, 24 point. But if I need to make an announcement as a teacher, I might make something larger. Okay? Again, if I want to erase this, I just use my pointer, draw a box around it, and hit backspace. Now, we don't use it very often, but you can also draw shapes on the board, and that's what these two squares are. You have the option of a filled-in square or an empty square. If you click there, it also will give you a circle. So square or circle, doesn't matter, but these are filled in. Okay? And of course the next one is the same, except it's see-through. Excellent. All right, the last one is just a simple line. Sometimes I ask you to point from the question to the answer. And so we end up with lines crisscrossed everywhere from the questions to the answers. Again, to get rid of all of this, we just want to draw a box around it and hit backspace. Just be mindful and be careful that you're not accidentally deleting another student's work. Okay? The next button is a screen capture. We do not use this button. I, as a teacher, might use it once in a while, but very rarely do I have students use it. So we're not going to worry about that button right now. The last button is our clip art. It has different options in the clip art if you'd like to look. The backgrounds are something that the teacher often uses. I regularly use the chalkboard. I like it. It's old school. It's kind of neat. Okay? But depending on what we're doing, we might need to look at coordinate planes, or we might need to look at a map. So those are some different backgrounds that the teacher can use, not usually the students. But there are things in here that let me go ahead and change that back. There are some common symbols that students use. Sometimes a teacher will ask you to put a sticker on the answer. And this is what she means by a sticker. So you can put your green check anywhere you like. You can put a star. You can put a smiley face. And these are just some of the common stickers. Okay? Sometimes in doing math, these other stickers are helpful. Sometimes a teacher will say, "How are you feeling today? Show me with a sticker." You might use coffee if you're tired. You might use glasses or something like that. So these are all different ones that you can use. Okay? There are math operations. Math relations, we don't ever use those. So most of these at the end we don't usually use. But we do use the common symbols, and the teacher uses the background, or I use the backgrounds. Okay, so now you have learned how to use all of the tools here. These are called your whiteboard tools. They're very, very helpful, and they're very useful. You will use those tools every day. You won't use every one every day, but you will use something every day on those tools. All right, the next thing I want to show you is the chat box. Most high school students don't like to use the microphone, and that's okay. I use the microphone, and if you would like to, I will show you how to use that as well. But first, let me show you how to use the chat box. It's pretty simple. Here is your chat box here. It's letting me know that my chat permissions have been turned on. So I'm just going to write, "Hello everyone." And when I type it and hit enter, you'll see that it goes up to the chat room, okay? Now you will not see the moderator tab. That's only for teachers. But you might have tabs up here if someone sends you a private message. The chat room here, the one that says room, is seen by everyone. But you can't have private messages from the teacher or another student. And those will show up in different tabs, okay? In order to send a private message to your teacher, just double-click on my name. If you double-click on my name, I can't do it because I'm the only one in here, but if you double-click on your name, it will give you another tab where you can type to just me if you have something private you want to talk about. Also in the chat box, you'll see that we have some emojis or emoticons that you can use. Again, the teacher might say, "Tell me in the chat box how you're feeling today." Tired students might give the sleep one. Silly students might give the silly ones. You know, there's all kinds of emotions that you can show, or little emoticons you can use. Okay? That is how you chat. Let me show you how you talk. This button right here that says talk is your microphone. This is how you turn up the volume of what you're saying, and this is how you turn up and down the volume of what you're hearing, okay? So above talk is what you're saying, above video is what you're hearing, okay? To use the microphone, excuse me, I didn't mean to turn that down. To use the microphone, you're going to hit talk. Once you've hit talk, you'll see this blue microphone, and you can see the bar is going up and down with my voice. The teacher knows who's talking because you can see here, there above my mouse, there is a blue microphone next to my name. Let's go ahead and turn that microphone off. Make sure when you're done talking that you click the talk button again to turn it off. It's like a walkie-talkie. Next, let me show you the video button. We don't use the video very often, but sometimes we do. Video is so that you can video chat with your teacher or your class. Now, if you're wondering, how does my hair look? You can hover over the preview button, you can click on the preview button, and that will show you a preview of how you look. Now, the students can't see that, or no one else in the class can see that because it says preview. But when you're ready for the rest of the class to see you, you can click on the video button, and then everyone can see you. And you can see above my name here, there is a little video camera button, or a little webcam button that's showing. Notice how the webcam button is turning yellow. That yellow flash on it, that little yellow bar, or sometimes a red bar, means that my internet is struggling to keep up. Sometimes that happens in class. When that happens, stick with me, because usually your internet will catch up, and I can see that you're having trouble, and I will slow down if I can, okay? All right, let's see, what else do we need to cover? Oh, there's a few more things. Here you can see our 4 buttons. These buttons are very important. The first button tells the teacher what's going on. Okay, you can give the teacher a smiley face, you can laugh, you can even show a round of applause for other students. You can use the slower or faster button if you would like your teacher to move faster or slower, or the confusion button if you're confused. Now, sometimes teachers are looking at the board and they didn't quite catch everything, and these do disappear after a few seconds. So if you're confused and the teacher doesn't see your confusion button, you can tell her in the chat box that you have a question, or just ask the question, okay? Now, sometimes when you're in class, you need to step away and use the restroom. If that's true, that's okay, or if you need to step away for a second, that's okay. You can click on the step away from the session button, okay? By clicking that button, it says that I'm away and lets everyone in the class know that I'm not here at the moment. That's okay. That lets the teacher know that you need a minute and that you'll be back, okay? That way I'm not calling on you. Next is the raise your hand button. Just like in the regular classroom, you can raise your hand if you need the teacher to stop. Now, if you just have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat box. But if you need, the teacher to stop really quick, or if you need to use the microphone, then go ahead and click the hand button. Sometimes the teacher will ask you to use this hand button also to put people in line. You see that it says number 1. If other people came in the classroom and raised their hand, it would number them by how they raised their hand, and that puts people in order. Let's go ahead and lower our hand. Next, you'll see a green check button. That's what we call this. This is our polling tool, and it might have A, B, C, and D if the teacher wants it to, or it might have yes and no. If the teacher says, give me a green check if you're good to go, here is your green check. If the teacher says, give me a red X if you do not understand, then there is your red X button, okay? Once you click it, the teacher can see that all the green checks and all the red X's. It's up to the teacher whether or not the rest of the class can see. So if you don't see other checks and X's from other students, most likely the teacher has chosen to keep those private. All right, I have shown you a lot in this tutorial. These are the basic functions that we use quite often in class. But if you need any help with these, please let me know. And of course, as a new student, I know that it will take you some time to get used to it. Please bear with me as I close this tutorial. Again, ask me any questions you have.